Okay, so it's not even been 1 day. It has literally been 0 days since Hero has come out. He's not even out yet. And I'm already hearing some people saying, Hero is OP. So today, I want to talk about the character. I find him extremely interesting. He is probably 100% my most hyped character that we're having in general in Smash Ultimate. And now since we just got such a huge info dump, I think it'd be a great time to talk about him. Now do keep in mind that this is just going to be kind of what I'm guessing how everything interacts, and kind of talking more specifically how stuff will actually work hopefully in the game and how people will most likely utilize different moves in the game. Please keep in mind I am going to make a full how-to when the character comes out, probably within the first day or two, because I think you can get most information in there. So if you want to check that out, press subscribe. That would really help me out. But with that all behind us, let's just talk about my points. And I have a lot of points I want to get to, so I'm probably going to talk about it pretty quickly. So the first thing I want to mention about Hero is his normals. And we're going to kind of go from the easy stuff to the more exact stuff. So his normals in general, that being his tilts, his smashes, his aerials, all of those, they all look pretty good and pretty normal. They're just kind of sword fighter ones. And in general, I'm going to say that none of them really wowed me. But they all had good range. They all may possibly combo. We need to see a little bit more on the end lag, but they look like they could possibly combo, kind of similar to Krav and Mori, but a little bit worse. And they also seem to be quite strong and can possibly kill. Forward air specifically was a move that I was a little bit worried about, but seems kind of like a slightly faster, maybe, version of Ike's that probably also kills a little bit later. Neutral air looked pretty dang good. Back air we already saw before, looks pretty dang good. And forward tilt is the main move that I think actually looks great. We learned that it does actually have a shield hitbox. Of course, Hero does have a shield that can block projectiles. But we're hoping, and it seems like this, we're hoping that it'll act like Palutena's dash attack and back air, where it will just beat everything. And if it does, yeah, that's going to be great. But that's kind of all I think about his normals. Overall, they look pretty good. They do look a tiny bit laggy, so, in the end, that might hold him back. That can happen sometimes. But in general, yeah, he looks pretty dang good. Now, I also want to say right here that random crits, which we did not know about before. We assumed that the zoom in was, like oomph or something else from the initial trailer. But, they look interesting. They do look extremely toxic for the game. I'm going to be honest here. I'm hyped for Hero. I want to play him so bad. But imagine getting, like, oofed, random critted at, like, 50% at the end of the stage and you're dead. Yeah, I guess that kind of brings up to one main thing about Hero, which is that this character's normals and a few of his specials seem pretty basic. They seem like moves that are going to be very consistent, but some of his other moves seem to have a lot of random variants. So if you're a person that hates randomness, yeah, Hero might be a little bit annoying. You probably can play him and not worry about it too much, but it is a pretty key part about his kit. And yeah, crits, there's really nothing else to talk about. It's just randomly you do more damage and can potentially kill. Kind of cool. I hope that with these random crits, they didn't make all of his attacks less strong in order to make up for it. I'm thinking that they may have done that, mainly his smash attacks. His S smash still look pretty strong though, so hopefully they didn't do that. And, if they didn't, he'd play pretty good. Now, also I want to say right here, moving on, is that he looked pretty fast. And he actually looked faster than at least I expected. I think most people thought that he'd be about as slow as Robin, or maybe a tiny bit faster. But at least to my eyes, which, I wasn't playing the game, but at least to what I saw, it seemed like he was about as fast as Link or about as fast as Pit, maybe as fast as Ken. So kind of in the middle of the road, which is very good for a sword fighter. Now, of course, we have Lucena and, we're on Krub, which are extremely fast, but they don't have a lot of projectiles. So, whatever. Having a pretty fast character with projectiles, that's always really nice. And just being slow is not the best thing in the world, so being kind of fast, is great. He's not exactly speedy, but he's not exactly slow. Now, if we move on right here, I do want to say that we didn't actually see any throw combos yet, and that's kind of the last normal part about this character. Sakurai didn't use any throws at all, to my remembrance. Maybe he used one or two, but yeah, not really any at all. His aerials would potentially lead into those really well. I think especially forward air, you could go like down throw forward air, get, enough percent, not a ton, but enough. Down throw up air, if it's the kick that we saw in a previous trailer, that could be a cool combo starter. We didn't really see that at all though, so we can't assume way too much from his throws. I hope that his back throw or forward throw is a kill throw or his up throw, because it could kind of be hard to get kills with this character if your RNG's bad, I guess. Otherwise, it wouldn't look way too hard. But yeah, that would be kind of nice. Now, moving on to his mana. This is kind of the main thing about the character, and I have a ton of points about this. Now, I won't be talking about every single spell specifically because there are so many spells, and I couldn't even mention them all if I wanted to. But I'll be talking about the main ones that I think are important and why I think they're important and kind of the main mechanics that I think are important. So, first off is the MP in general, and I'm really glad because the hero kind of seems to have two ways to get MP. One is just waiting, and it seemed to recover, fast enough, not super slow. It was like around 1 per second, I believe, maybe 1 per every 2 seconds, somewhere around there. And as well, though, he also gets some mana when he does damage. Now, people were hoping that this would happen, and I'm very happy that this happens because it just looks fun. being able to just run around and be able to use spells and then actually get mana from those spells, not from spells, but get mana from your regular normals to use for future spells. That looks really interesting. And it makes it that, you know, while he normally be a character that 100% always camps, now you might want to go aggressive. You could play a hero that uses a lot of normals, that also uses oomps and accelerate a lot, goes in, does a ton of damage, keeps getting more spells, and that could be a different playstyle. You know, maybe it may not be a great playstyle, maybe it may, I don't know, but yeah, that sounds really interesting. And yeah, it seemed like most spells didn't take way too much mana. Now I'm also going to talk about the spells that he has all the time first, and then kind of talk about his down B, because yeah, that's a little bigger. So first off, on the spells that he has all the time, his neutral B looks pretty good. In general, I'm going to say that it might be a little bit worse than Thoron. I can't really tell exactly, than Robin's, but it looks good enough. It's a move that takes, I think, is like around 5, then 12, then 36 or something MP. I'm not going to tell you the exact MP values, but essentially a small, medium, and large amount of MP, and seem to do a small, medium, and large amount of damage. What was really nice about it is that you can actually hold it. People were kind of afraid that you couldn't from the previous trailer, and that's great because it allows him to have a move that he can just run away, charge, and then spam at his opponent if he needs to. Of course, it does have MP cost, but still, having that on a character is kind of nice, and it would be great for him. I think it is great for him because it gives him just a very consistent spell, a very consistent far-range spell that he doesn't have to worry about. You don't have to worry about getting the command prompt neutral B. You already have it all the time, which is pretty dang great. And being able to just, you know, hold it and cancel it, that's going to be great as well. Now to his side B, that actually looks a lot more interesting. His neutral B doesn't seem to kill or do way too much. It just seems to be like a lot of damage, and maybe it hits people on the ledge. I don't know. Could be great for ledge trapping. We just don't really know yet. His side B though, that looks really interesting because it seems like you can just kind of tap it, and it's like a really close range attack. So essentially like a slash in front of you. I don't know how much lag it has, but it looks, you know, all right and seems to do a lot of damage. And then you can charge it a little bit more, and it probably goes through projectiles. Then you can charge it fully, and it like attacks above him and then right around him, and it seemed to deal around 36 damage, I believe. Yeah, so it's like a very close range, and then like a medium range, and then a very close range move that also hits around you. Seems kind of weird, but also, you know, if you can combo into it, that would be super cool, and it would be really fun. And also neutral B you can probably combo into, hopefully out of like a Nairo or forward air, deal a ton of damage with that. That'd be really fun as well. I should also mention that both those spells do seem to come out relatively quick and seem to move really quick, which is kind of nice because some of Robin's spells were a little bit slower, so hopefully they are as fast as I'm thinking. Now finally we have his recovery, his up B. I think this is overall a okay recovery. Now, one thing I wondered about this was, if you don't have any mana, what does it do? Hopefully it does what Robin's does, which is just, you know, flying you up a little bit, just like a tad. And maybe it just does the level 1 if you don't have any mana. We don't really know, but if you just can't recover if you have 0 mana, that would really suck, so please don't do that. I really hope they don't do that. I should also mention right here that, yeah, it's pretty nice because you can have the level 1, level 2, or level 3. Level 3 seems super good because you can just recover extremely low every single time, and recovering low is just kind of busted in this game. So yeah, that's pretty dang dumb. Now I should also mention that, you know, that's, I guess, kind of all of his regular neutral B tools. But another recovery that we have that I have to mention right here is going to be Zoom. Now, Zoom, I feel like, is going to be extremely awkward because you could either up B or you could Zoom. And while Zoom actually looks like it potentially might have invincibility, maybe it doesn't, we don't really know, or vulnerability, it does come out pretty quick, and it does send you super far, super fast. So, you know, that might be a better tool to use often than up B. It also seems to take a little bit less mana than up B, because up B took like, I don't know, like 5, 10, 15 or something like that mana, while Zoom only takes like 8 all the time, no matter what level it is, because there's only one level of Zoom. But Zoom does look kind of awkward because you use it, and then, well, you use down B, and then you have to hope that you get Zoom from your first down B because you can't shield cancel in the air. If you don't get Zoom, you're kind of dead. Yeah, I'm a little worried about that, but I'm really glad he has a pretty good normal recovery. The only problem about his normal recovery is that you can probably just jump down and hit him while he's charging it, so you will have to recover really low or really far to the side, and I'm not sure if you can act out of it. It looked like you possibly could, but I'd have to definitely double check on that. Overall, it looks decent, and none of his spells, at least his neutral B, side B, and up B, look really that bad. Now, the final thing we had to talk about is going to be his down B, the command prompt. This thing's looking spicy. And, you know, I was personally one of the people in the camp that hoped that, you know, you could hold side B and then pick 1 out of 4 spells, and hold down B, pick 1 out of 4 spells, neutral B, and up B, 1 out of 4 spells for all of those. And that isn't the case. I think that would be nicer for most players, because it would make so that you could actually pick exactly what you want and get rid of, like, a ton of RNG. But I also realized that it would just feel awful for casual players to try to do that, be very confusing, and be just not, it wouldn't feel that great, I'm gonna say. Even though it would be very nice, Yeah, I can understand why they didn't decide to go for that. Anyways, yeah, having random spells is going to be awkward. And one thing you have to realize is that if you want to play hero, you will need to spam shield cancels on your menu all the time. You're going to use menu, cancel it with shield, menu, cancel it with shield, menu, cancel it with shield. You hit your opponent away, and you don't really necessarily want to follow up. Well, you use menu, follow up with shield. You're circle capping your opponent, menu, shield. Try to get exactly what you want. One thing I was thinking about right here is that I wonder if spells have a different chance of RNGing showing up, and maybe if you have more mana, certain spells that take a lot of mana show up more often, or maybe if you have less mana, spells that take less mana show up more often. I kind of hope that's how it is, because it'd really suck if you just keep getting like 36 cost spells when you have like 5 mana. I don't know if it matters at all. I don't know if they're actually bothered to program that at all. I'm assuming certain spells probably show up more than other spells, but we don't know yet. That's just one thing that we have to, randomly guess on, and I'm sure we'll find out from data mining or something in like 10 months. Continuing on from here, though, I'm going to say, and this is talking about specifically certain down B spells now, instead of just the thing in general, is that he has a lot of them, and a lot of them look really good, but also a lot of them look really jank. Now, I should actually mention that none of his down B spells, except for Snooze, seem to be far range, at least from what I can recollect. So that's kind of nice, because it means that all your far range spells, all your main zoning tools are going to be your side B, your neutral B, and even your up B, which I also should mention maybe can potentially combo. I don't know. I don't really know about that. Maybe your side B and neutral B can combo too. I don't really know yet. But anyways, I think it is pretty nice that your down B doesn't have a lot of far range spells. It mainly has close range spells, so when you use down B, you know that you're probably going to get a close range attack or an augmentation. Those are kind of the two main things you're going to get, which is, yeah, it's nice. It makes it that you don't have to worry super badly about what you're getting. I should also mention right now, getting used to the down B might be kind of awkward, because you do have to like very quickly pick the spell that you want. And as well, what people are saying, which I just realized, is that if you're playing in the US and you're a Japanese player, you won't be able to have your language, which is going to suck. And especially if you're a player that is from the US going to Japan or another region that doesn't use English, you're going to have to read Japanese when you're playing hero. So, yeah, so let's just not go to any other regions ever again. Yeah. It's so dumb. I'm pretty sure that most of the time people are going to be doing English, because that is generally the most common language that Smashers use. But yeah, that's the thing I had to mention. Anyways, specifically onto down B spells, getting onto that, sorry for that bit of a tangent. He has a lot of them, and a lot of them are really good. So I'm just going to mention my favorite ones and the ones that I think are going to have the most impact on the character. There are going to be some other ones, and I'll talk about some of them in general. But yeah, let's move on to this. So first off, I'm going to say that this character is going to be godlike versus other zoners, because he has a shield, which actually, frame data wise, is better than parrying your opponent. So that's nice. So you can just simply walk towards your opponent for free, and then use your tilts, use your whatever, which are actually seeming to be further range or faster than a lot of other people that would normally spam a lot, which is great. But as well, you also have bounce, which if you happen to RNG pick it up, which could be kind of annoying, but if you do happen to get that, you're going to get annoyed by RNG a lot, I should just say that. But if you do happen to get that, you get a reflector, which seems to last for about like 8-ish seconds. We'll find out later, but around 6, I guess, to 10 seconds. And yeah, I mean, you have a shield that you can move around with, that you can attack with, that completely blocks projectiles, along with your regular shield. This is just going to be so dumb in certain matchups. You can just continuously hit your opponent away, try to get, bounce as much as possible, spam that, hit your opponent away, use that again against people like Snake, people like Olimar, people like Samus. Yeah, this character, even though he doesn't have the most powerful ways to get in, he still does have a decent amount of ways to get in. And yeah, that's going to be pretty dumb. Now, I should also say right here, though, that he doesn't necessarily have bad ways to get in, because his augmentations. And I think this is what's going to actually help him a lot, again, against zoners and even against some other characters. His augmentation spells look super good. First off, I think the most important one against zoners is going to be his accelerate. I don't remember exactly what they called it. In general, it's called accelerate, but I think it's something slightly different, like accelerate or something. Sorry, I don't know. But anyways, this just makes you move way faster and looks like Palutena's speed up in Smash 4. This is going to be great, because it gives you a way to actually jump towards your opponent very quickly, potentially go for stuff like jump up, tomahawk grab, jump up, pretend to tomahawk grab, and then go for a side B at close range, or, kind of do whatever you want. As we saw with JoeK, even though hero may not potentially have the fastest startup, if you're just fast, you can get in versus zoners. You don't necessarily need super fast startup. I think JoeK, yeah, again, was kind of the way that we saw that. And of course, having extra attacks, extra damage per attacks is going to be great against those people as well. If you can finally get one hit in, yeah, that's going to be overall good. I'll kind of get back to that in a second. So, moving on to the next thing about this character, and this is extremely toxic. This character has random RNG killing spells. I'm assuming that at higher percents, they have a higher chance to kill. Whack, I don't know, but I'm assuming at 0%, it has like a 1% chance to kill, and then like 300%, it has like a 50% chance to kill. Probably. Maybe has like a 90, I don't know. And then Hatchet Man, at least in the game of Dragon Quest, when your opponent is at a certain percent, they just kind of insta-die. So I'm assuming maybe like past 100%, past 120%, if you hit it, they just instantly die. Maybe that one's RNG as well. We don't know exactly, but either way, it's most likely at low percent, they have a low percent chance of killing. At high percent, they have a high percent chance of killing. Either way, having an RNG killing spell that you can just throw out at close or far range, depending on what one you randomly get, that sounds just so fun to do and so annoying to play against. So, you know, if you're the hero player, we take those. If you're anybody else, I'm so sorry. But also, if you're the hero player, I'm sorry for you, because sometimes you'll throw out 20 of those and it will never kill and your life will suck. But, you know, that's just kind of what happens. You're going to have to deal with that. Now, moving on to his next spell, we got Snooze, and this is his only projectile to my extent that I can remember. There is also Boom, I forgot about that, which is kind of like a version of Neutral B, but kind of fast, that also does a lot of damage. So, you know, that exists as well, so sorry, I forgot about Boom. But anyways, it's not too important. Maybe it is, I don't know. Boom looks okay. Talking about Snooze, though, this move looks busted. Snooze works in the air. And that is what makes it busted to me, because there's not many projectiles, and by many I mean there's literally 0 projectiles that you can use in the air that put your opponent to sleep, that then you can follow up with a smash attack or maybe a throw combo or whatever his best combo starter is. Could be like down tilt. I don't really know exactly. But as well, I saw people talk about this. You could snooze people off stage and just screw their recoveries. You could just straight up kill people off stage, like Chrom, like maybe even Link potentially if it goes underneath the stage, or even people like DK that have to go pretty high in order to get back on the stage. Yeah, it could just insta kill them. So that could be fun to use. I think Snooze is overall going to be just one of his best spells. I wish that we could pick it all the time, like all these spells. But when you randomly RNG get it, it'll be fun to use. Now, back to his augmentations, other than just playing against zoners, which I was talking about a second ago, I feel like in general, they look so good. Just having extra speed is always good. It's the best stat in the game, 100%. And being that fast, being like as fast as Sonic, maybe not that fast, but close to as fast as Sonic in the ground and way faster in the air, that's great. Being able to do more damage for your next attack, pretty much like Incineroar, that's going to be great for Incineroar. It's pretty good. Hopefully getting grabbed doesn't get rid of that from your Oomph or whatever, or from your Psych Up. And just having a power-up over time is also kind of good. Psych Up and Oomph together just seem like decent moves. And if you get a powered-up attack, like a Psych Up, plus a crit side smash, yo, I'm excited for that to kill at like 30%. That's going to be so good. It's not going to happen very often. But if you can get like a forward air and then a tech chase, maybe a back air, and then you tech chase with jab 1, jab 2, and then you forward smash, and you get a crit, yo, spice. It's going to be so spicy. Now, continuing from here, other than that, which also, I guess I should mention, the augmentations may allow him to play very aggressively, and you could actually play a very aggressive hero. Well, on the other hand, I think most people are going to play kind of a more defensive hero or more bait and punishy type hero, which more sword fighters kind of do, so I should mention that right there. Moving on to his next spell, though, we also have Heal, and I really like that he has this because it makes so that your opponent has to approach you. Because if they don't approach you, you're going to A, charge your neutral B, which you should probably do before trying to go for heals, because that is random. So you're going to charge your neutral B, that's going to be great. Potentially charge your side B. I'm pretty sure you can't keep that charged. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can't, but you know, you could potentially use that and try to hit your opponent. Or you could just run away and spam heal. And if your opponent doesn't attack you, well, you're getting 12% back over and over and over again until your opponent finally goes for you. Maybe the more you use a spell, the less it shows up. That might happen so that you can't spam heal too much, but we haven't seen anything about that so far, so I'm assuming it's completely random, so I'm assuming you could potentially just run away and spam heal. So, yeah, it forces people to approach you, and forcing people to approach you is always great. We saw with Smash 4 Cloud. It's just a good thing in this game. It's 100% a good thing. And I think in general, just whenever you pull out your command prompt, it's going to force people to approach you, because if they don't, you have potential to just get buffs, get buffs for yourself, and they want to be able to hit you, you know, after you get the buff or before you get the buff, because otherwise, you know, it's just good for you. You have buffs. They're great. I should also say that if you are lame, you can time people out with this probably, and you can probably platform camp really well with this. And as well, you have really no reason to go in general if you don't want to, which is kind of nice. But I should say that in many cases you do have reason to go in, because it will fill up your MP bar faster. So, you know, if you want to like run away, spam heal, and then you're out of MP, then you can attack your opponent and then run away and spam heal again. Maybe that's a good strategy. I should also mention that with the augmentations, I just thought about this, but this also applies to heal. With augmentations, it could be kind of nice because you could get yourself really fast, get a lot of damage, run towards your opponent, hit them a lot, deal a lot of damage, and then that runs out. Then you run away, kind of spam heal, get another augmentations going in, started, and then just attack again. So you can kind of go in and out. That'd be pretty cool. I don't know, just something I was randomly thinking. Now, He also has a move, moving on, that just does a random effect, and I think this will be a funny move to use, but I don't think anyone will actually ever use it, because the one that we saw made him, like, fly in the air, and he couldn't really do anything, and, you know, just giving your opponent, like, a free stock, it's a really great idea. If it does that to your opponent as well, though, where they're just kind of, like, stuck in a vortex, the RNG could bless you. If you just, like, randomly hit your opponent from anywhere on the stage, and you get, like, a free kill, I don't know, that could be dumb, but I think in general, it's probably not going to be that great. Now, continuing from here, I talked about Zoom a little bit earlier as a recovery, but another thing that I thought about with Zoom is that you could potentially just kind of do what Snake does, which is you could zoom extremely high, like super high so your opponent can't really hit you, and then use another one of his spells if you get lucky RNG to make you metal so that you can fly down, your opponent can't hit you while you're doing this, and then there you go. You're back on the stage, you're at a disadvantage. Maybe that could help, and in general, I'm hoping that him turning into metal could potentially help him. Maybe it won't, maybe it has way too much end lag, but it seems like unless your opponent has a lot of very fast moves or very fast movement, that'll probably be a good idea, and overall, zooming super high is also probably a pretty decent idea. Now, I'm going to say that some of the other moves, these are kind of just in general basic moves that we saw for Hero, are a few slashes. We saw like a close range fire slash, a close range metal slash, and a close range ice slash. All of these seem just kind of okay. They probably aren't anything way too special. I'm assuming that they all probably come out pretty often because they just seem kind of like the normal thing that you have quite often. Yeah, there isn't much to say about that. The metal slash looks absolutely worthless in most situations because it's only good against other heroes or against a certain item. That'll kind of suck to pull out. Maybe it does a lot against shields. That's my only other guess, but yeah, I don't really know about that. And then we got Magic Burst and Kamikaze. Those are kind of the final moves I want to talk about. Both of these actually ended up being kind of underwhelming, at least to me. Now, we only saw them being used at 0%, so, you know, you can't say 100% that they're going to be bad or good. But Kamikaze from the trailer looked like it would kill at like 20%, but the amount of knockback it did at 0, I mean, it did 50 damage, but it didn't seem to do that much knockback. So, I don't know. Hopefully, it still kills before 50, but I really can't say. It looked just a tiny bit disappointing. A little bit slower than we thought. As well with Magic Burst, that does a ton of damage, and it just does more damage the more MP you currently have. But considering you're losing all of your MP, and considering it has a ton of end lag, so if you miss it, you're kind of screwed. It looked like it could deal a little bit more damage. It looked like it as well could deal a little bit more knockback. Again, we didn't see it at high percent, so maybe I'm just looking into things a little bit too much. But both of those kind of ending stocks moves looked a little bit underwhelming, at least for me. Now, I should also mention both these moves are probably also going to be busted for edge guarding. Like, you just jump off the cliff, and if you have one stock above your opponent, you use one of these, and then you essentially automatically hit them no matter where they are, unless they have like a super fast recovery that grabs the ledge really quick. Yeah, that's going to be dumb and really cool. Overall, dumb and really cool is probably what I'm going to say is the basics of Hero. This character looks extremely fun to play in every way. All of his tilts, all of his aerials, those look fun. Pretty general, but pretty fun. All of his spells, those look fun. His downbeat looks extremely fun. You know, you kind of going into a lottery every single time you play the character, but fun. But yeah, playing against him is going to be extremely toxic. The amount of just random kills that he's going to get is going to be toxic. The random crits are going to be toxic. Him being able to run around, run away, spam a ton of healing, just play super defensive or super aggressive depending on what he wants to do, that's going to be pretty toxic. So yeah, I do expect a lot of people to hate this character. Honestly, I think the hate could be on levels with JoeK if he does end up being as good as JoeK. And if you're going to be asking for my opinion, I feel like this character does, on paper, look extremely powerful. Now, the only thing that could hold him back is A, the RNG. Maybe it is too bad that it really does hold him back, so that he can't just consistently do what he wants to do. Or B, his aerials and tilts could have a little bit too much lag. At this point, they seem like they might, and if he just has really bad normals, that's just not a good sign for any character. Now, those could easily be buffed in the future if they need to be buffed, so those are kind of the best thing to have bad, because those are the easiest thing to buff. So in general, I feel like either he's going to be a really good character, probably high tier is my guess right now, maybe he can move up, kind of like JoeK, or maybe he's mid tier if all of his aerials and all of his tilts have, you know, just horrible end lag, like they potentially might. They don't seem like they do, but maybe in actual gameplay, they feel like they do. And if that's the case, maybe he'll end up around mid tier and could potentially get buffed up from there. I think in general, this character, there's just no way in my eyes that this character is bad. Sure, he might not be the best, and sure, his RNG might hold him back, but on the other side of the coin, it might just be busted, and it might just allow him to just do so much stupid stuff, and he could be the best character in the game. At this point, I'm kind of taking a middle-of-the-road standpoint, and I'm going to say that he doesn't look really OP to me right now, but he does look like a character that could be. Like, he has so much potential stuff that it could be OP, but I think we really will need time for this to see on this character. Kind of like how we needed time to see with Joker. Overall, though, he does look really good. And I'm going to say the final thing that's great about this character, if you want to main him, is that you can John every single time you lose because you got bad RNG and you got bad spells. So it wasn't my fault I lost. It's Hero's fault. What can you ask for more on a character than having so much RNG that you can John every loss? It's gonna be so dumb. Seeing him in like a finals tournament, using Quak, killing his opponent at 0%, maybe, if that can possibly happen. That'd be so dumb. That'd be so dumb. Accidentally using Kamikaze online because you have lag. That's going to happen way too much. It's going to be dumb. It's going to be funny. Yeah, I think that's in general pretty much everything I want to say about the character. I hope you guys enjoyed. These are all of my ideas about the character so far. I'm glad that, you know, I can make this video just kind of what it is. I just wanted to put out every talking point. Sorry if I guess it is a little bit long, but, you know, I thought it was a ton of fun. So if you guys enjoyed, as always, you know, I guess comment down below your own opinions about Hero, your opinions about my opinions about Hero, how strong you think he's going to be, and if you're going to pick up the character and why. As always, guys, press subscribe if you want to see more videos in the future, specifically a how-to on Hero, talking about all of his attacks, how to use them, and that'll actually be 2 parts, one on just his normals and one on his specials. So if you're excited for Hero, definitely recommend to subscribe and check that out. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video as well. And as always, guys, thank you all for watching and have a smashing day.